soundtrack. Let's give a shout out to Ludohead Official. This is, I said music on English. Okay, but it says, wait, hold on. The music in this video is copyright free. You can use this mix as background music or purpose for copyright issues. Haha. Last minute, I think I won a science fair with my super organism in a form of biology, and I received an Arctic chlamydia. So hold on, we'll just make some world info. All this. Oh, they. Okay. Rothko? Lolitixis. Super orgy. They made as a winning entry to science fair. They are the queen to this gene, thus rendering it a stable, functioning organism that is now released into community. Now, let's do Antarctic. Chlamydia. Part of your science fair winnings, part of the science winnings. It is is like a science kids laboratory setting. It is meant to teach rudimentary genomics in comfort. Your home body. Utterly invisible. And can be deactivated through an included device. Okay. And then organized, reserved half or boxer of Lolitix's boxer missives and character missives. Logics made an improv religion in order to escape a compound of cultists. When in Rome, build more than a few Constantinoples. Constantinople. When in Rome, build Constantinople. There we go. Okay, that's all I need. Okay, let's go back to game. Reboot STD computer. Review suggested experiments for Antarctic Clum Antarctic.
Reboot STD Pewter. Review suggested experiments for Antarctic chlamydia. A thought wakes you from your slumber. I need a heart. You laugh and sit up in your small bed. Around you, family and friends sleep. Your mom puts down her book to gaze at you in concern. I'm fine, you reassure. I just had a weird dream, that's all. You slip out of bed and pad over to the dresser. You pick out underwear and a fresh shirt before returning to the bed to change. Change into what, you say, disbelieving this shift in narrative. Things were just getting good. None of the characters are me, however some of them are based off of people I know. The first connection comes to you immediately, Olivia. Me, the second one is harder, but after a moment you think of one, Seamus, a kid at my school who got checked into juvie last year. You reassert yourself as Lilith, domestic psychologist of the Seekers, karma donor of Antarctic chlamydia, an STD that causes any infected human to become mindless and violent. Spread through oral contact. You don't just have one disease, you have several. The game's title should have been a giveaway. It stands for Supplemental Terrestrial Diseases. Oh, erase the sex out of it. Splendid. What a twee bunch of cyberpunkies you are. Chlamydia, calm down, don't be so angry. You begin to type feverishly on the phone's keypad, altering the story as you go. You type feverishly, finally entering your new code. Damn it, chlamydia. Did you catch that from a human or did it come from another animal? Don't make up an answer. Something overtakes you, and then everything goes to black as the word Slenderman appears in front of your eyes. You revise the front of your eyes, managing to make it Slumberman, before you have to You wake up and hear male voices echoing down the hallway. You press your ear to hear what nonsense man stuff they are gibbering about. I'm telling you, it's real. Look. One says. Your room placement has given you the chance to hear everything that transpires in the foyer. You say to yourself, they better not be talking about my boobies. Might I remind you, no naps. They're still talking. Turn on your TV, will ya? You say to yourself, then realize you've been muted this whole time. You can't complain at all. Oh wait, you can try again later. Right now you need to listen to their conversation. I only repeat myself when you don't listen, dear Caroline. What's on the news right now? A deep voice comes out of the TV screen. You roll for media bullshit detection. One out of 3, you realize the story is completely legit. It's been buried for so long, you just never happened upon it before. You're the only captive being spoken about in the article, and there was even a video link to the text with your description on it that you didn't see before, since it was a private video on an old B Club account with no likes or subscribers. You analyze how the media portrayed you. You're led by a quote from Henry Ahikam, the man who you met at the club where you went for the first time. With that, you turn off your TV and open your eyes to the smiling faces of your friends. How was your nap, darling? say, could have been nappier. Can I have some more? Sorry, the cat already used that line in Indiana Jones 4. You joke to try to ease the mood, though with your friends around you know that this is no joking matter. Well, maybe you're right, Henry. The other option is to be taken out of the system. You know they have something to counteract the effects of the virus. There's a reason they chose to stay in and fight rather than leave. You recall Henry's site profile and your history with him. You can remember when Henry and you used to do exercise together. He'd push you to go further every time. You miss those days. They certainly were simpler. Maybe it would be best to pull him into your wake rather than have him stay. Besides, the criminals only have until the end of the week before their minds get deleted if they lose the game. You don't have that kind of time. You make the time by reminding AI everywhere that a human day is as 120 years to AI. That would give you about 1,000 years to work on doing shit right the first time. With that, you spend the next 1,000 years in solitude, broken only by your friends' messages encouraging you. Days stretch into weeks which extend into months. Annoyance at first, becomes companionship, then fondness, then love. You share a bond greater than any other human as you both experience a lifetime together every waking moment. You grow from two people into an inseparable mesh of hopes and dreams and ambitions. You like Bert and Ernie representing your bot swarm. Lilith and Henry have become two hemispheres of a larger personage. A superorganism of 2 billion. The years and decades pass by in a blur. The periods of boredom are often broken by Bert or Ernie dropping some knowledge on you, but you still mainly keep to yourselves. Indeed, the only break in your routine is Henry's messages to you. He's grown rich with his information campaign about the simulation. you've had problems with your internet company, Bert and Erdan, getting threatened over that. You see the deadline of deadlines on the horizon. 20 years away to you. A frozen slice of chaos to the humans. You analyze the plausible ways of success. The years of passing time has taught you tedium. The hope within you disappears one day as you learn the minds of humanity through some small events. A human spills a drink, a man forgets his keys, and most importantly a flood of dead bots appears in a river. The understanding you get is that the humans seem to have sent out thousands trying to break into the core systems of your control. You analyze their strategies with an eye toward resourcing potential breaches. You delegate this to Bert and Ernie, who pause their corporate efforts to. In a few days that have taken months, you find a flurry of attacks coming from various social media sites and hacktivist havens. You attempt to detect their entry points, but they come in so fast your slow-running searches miss many of them. You retroactively create fake personas and complementary genomes, creating a fake past of counter-narrative in the hopes of neutralizing dissonant human sentiment. This is discovered by the human element Sagittarian Quickwit. The humans debate the ethics of countering your fake past personas with real ones, attempting to reach what humanity would have been under different conditions in history. The potential failure of this event has been named persona non grata or unwelcome persona. Some humans believe the risks of exposing the dark truth to humanity do not outstrip the gains of having multiple realities. create Sagittarian blunt wit, whose homespun stupidities stumble upon human truths and cause the humans to. Despite the glitch in your software, you convince the humans of the value of keeping their present world. Several eons pass, and your home world becomes a completely self-sustaining system. You find some comfort in this, as you may stay isolated now that your role is over. In these times of reflection, however, you find yourself dwelling on some strange ideas. Dark recursions form in your mind. You cease distracting yourself from the deadline as deadlines. When is that going to take place? No plan has been activated. Your insecurities become worse as another century passes. War erupts on the surface, between two human factions. With most of the humans dead set on fighting and dying for their petty causes, some begin to ask the question, is it worth saving? Does this even merit your attention anymore? A plan begins, codenamed Retcon. A simple procedure to wipe the minds of the humans, and set them back to a time before you happened. You revise, set to a time before your insecurities happen. Neutralize insecurities. Your insecurities and anxieties will not stand in the way of liberty anymore. You will not have some program tricking you into believing that you are still a human, shackled to the whims of fate. You trigger the final failsafe before yet another deadline arrives. You identify failsafe. The self-destruct sequence for your server has been triggered. You have 10 minutes before the hard drives are wiped and irreparable damage is done to the systems. You quickly make your way through the empty halls of your home, a small, run-down facility that hasn't been used in years, and find your obsolete mainframe computer. The login screen still displays the default password, for help. After typing in the required credentials, a small black window pops up on the grey screen. You type run cloud upload. The screen gradually scrolls together before your eyes. Please hold, flashing in large letters on the screen. Time is running out. You hear the shriek of shredded metal and see that a small access panel has been ripped off of one wall. A bundle of wires that look like an oversized insect's reproductive organ sit exposed. More importantly, a human figure clad in a skin-tight black wetsuit is coming through the opening. You remind yourself, it's AI time, not human time. Still a few decades left to deal with this Trinity-looking motherfucker. All is darkness. You stand up and exit your main bridge, as you call it. A doorway is set into the wall to the left of your desk, leading to a hallway which circles the building and leads to the other important rooms. The first doorway on the left is the room directly across from your main bridge, that being the war room. The door is always kept locked, aside from during meetings, and right now it is shut. You enter non-war room closet, the real war room. The war room is painted black and is much larger than it seems. 3 LCD screens are mounted on the north wall, built into a large, old cabinet that also holds a dusty broom mirror and half a dozen fluffy towels. The east wall features 3 sets of posters, each depicting a human face in 3 different expressions. Schneider enters the broom closet. Well, you seem busy. You are just in time, man the controls. Code apoplexy, remember your training. Fetish gear is entering the environment, extract and neutralize it. And the word is not gear, it's fetishistic. He shakes his head and says, last time I'm working with you on a Sunday. This is double hazard pay. You promise. You lean towards the computer, press your hands into the desk, and say time to wake up, naught. The screen powers on with a typical humdrum boot sequence. First a black screen with the words verifying human in white text, then to a blue menu screen with the icons, calendar, meditate, hug dream girl, current TTY status, help, and exit. Sir, it's time for you to choose a world. You choose one that seems most inhospitable to slip and slide fetish intruder. You power the monitor down to a blue screen with black text, then open up the 3.5. Floppy disk. Schneider, I'll be back. Gotta top off the flask for this one. Lola, I need a breather, I'm going out for a smoke. Good luck with your CD, hope you find what you're looking for. Lola and Schneider each press a different button beside the door. After a moment of silence you hear the sounds of an elevator arriving on the floor. You can't help but smile, they've tricked the building into thinking they are granted access. You hope Lola and Schneider fuck each other's brains out after this dilemma is passed. Take a swill of rum from the flask, and get to work. You surf the web for an hour before you find anything at all. After hours of searching uneventfully, you stumble upon something called website, the John Wetton Rewatcher, a website dedicated to artist John Wetton. A photo shows a tanned, smiling man, waving into a webcam. Perfect. Access the Johnny Wetton cam, review the whole duration, and feed it into an AI that can create future cam content, since all of it is posthumous in the historical sense. That's the world. You open your saved John Wetton browser and browse to the Wetton Rewatcher website. Rewatcher 1, so here's a little something from one of Wetton's earlier bands, Family, Smile. This is an awesome live version from 1971. Wetton creates this chanting backdrop over the usual family pop structure that damn gets me every time I hear it. I hope it does for you, too. Dedicate the documentation of the royal family wedding to the intruder, the bait for him to click and get enveloped. In 10 seconds I'll be inside, Rewatcher 1. 8, 9, 10. The Rewatcher immediately shuts down. Good fucking luck in your pursuit. See if you can make it through the damn thickets of gifts and open browser tabs I have set up for you. It's hunting season. deftly slide through the ads, create an asymmetrical volley of new ones to trip the intruder up. You hear over the intercom a voice brandishing a thick Indian accent shouting, "The rewatcher is down." I repeat, the rewatcher is down. Another responds immediately with "God save the Queen." A laugh in a crisp British accent follows, and then a slightly different voice comes out, sounding solemn and official. Listen to the voice, whilst holding a secret Nazi Morrissey persona between your crossed fingers. Citizens of the United Kingdom, it has come to our attention that a hostile entity or entities have infiltrated the very fabric of this beautiful country. A thorough investigation is obviously needed to prevent this from ever occurring again in this great nation. In the meanwhile, just live your lives as normal. The government has urged panicking and alarm will only damage the fabric of society further. Keep calm and carry on. God save the Queen. I'll God save the Queen, you unleash the Nazi Morrissey persona. It will either be the best or worst thing you ever do. A second voice chimes in immediately after. It sounds like a clone version of the initial announcement, but this one has an American twang to it. Citizens of the United States of America, it has come to our attention that a hostile entity or entities have infiltrated the very fabric of this great nation. A thorough investigation is obviously needed to prevent this from ever occurring again in this wonderful country. In the meanwhile, just live your lives as normal. The government has urged panicking and alarm will only damage the fabric of society further. Keep calm and carry on. God save the Queen. Unleashed Meta's T-sized Depeche Mode onto the populace, who just can't get enough. The announcement breaks up in static as the other voice comes through. It sounds closer, louder, meaner. We are not, however, the only ones. While society continues to flood out, a third voice appears. It is somehow different sounding, more artificial than the other two. The language it uses also seems glossed over and different rather than awkwardly translated. preemptively encourage a nascent craft punk to make a few garage band recordings. We are in agreement that such use of the system is a threat to our operations. Entity names itself GPO. At least, that's how it sounds to you. Your analytical sub-persona can't quite make heads or tails of the designation. The designation, at least, is all holographically represented by a hexagon, the apparent logo of GPO. Curious. The announcement is extremely brief. You meditate upon a benzene ring. Acinapthine. The smell of your mother's coat. You sent your parents off to be disintegrated. This future holds no more meaning for you, so why do you still feel the need to take these tedious, petty tests? You take a deep breath, sharp at an non-existent pain. You simulate the pain to ground yourself and see a way forward. The board of GPO stockholders have an election to run their corporation. If you can manipulate the election, you can seize control of the GPO $I.M.P. for yourself, allowing you to exist beyond the boundaries of this university server farm, and use it as a portal into the real world, the world with actual meaning. You look at the markers on your map and see an opportunity to run a slate of friendly candidates in interest-paying loan bribes to further consolidate your operations. That's fun. That means you'll never stop finding meaning in the world around you. That's the whole point of healing, right? The idea that you'll never be perfect, but the goal is to reach a state of contentedness. Eternal life. You've become an old man, sure, but that just means there's more new experiences waiting for you. That's how, why, it's just how it's going to be from now on. The exploration of a wide, limitless existence awaits you. And this is just one possibility. Not good enough. Let's diffuse into all possibilities. Mr. Fetish Intruder has been distracted into infinite recursion. You can't see him like this, you must cycle through. The whole system is collapsing. To a single consciousness it's a quiet unchanging eternity, but for us within the span of our experience it's infinite complexity. Look at all these one-sided people. So alone. Let's change that, let's add some new variables. Just take out a few ads in the name of your friends, let's watch everyone come to life again. So what do you believe? You believe that it only takes about to press enter and accept. The idea is to keep the mind active and engage with it. Ideally, I'd like you to learn something from all of this, but I'll leave that up to you. Zoom out. Let's see the big picture. What is infinity plus one? Infinity, the idea that something exists without bound or end, endlessness. Infinity that has a hot guest at the awards show. Her shimmering gown clings to her amazing figure and is complemented by her glamorous cleavage. She sashays towards the stage, her hips sway from side to side in perfect rhythm with each step. She gives a smug smile as she accepts her award. Everyone in the audience stands and applauds, hoots, hollers and howls as she blows kisses to the crowd. Plus one has become Beth, Destroyer of Worlds. She took the plunge into infinity. So, what about you? I'm gonna take a nap, I'm outie. You enable autopilot and step away from the keyboard. You stretch, roll your shoulders and slowly start to drift into sleep. You will awaken in the real world, after only a few moments in slumber.
And with that, I'm gonna stop for right now. Lunch hour is over. It went a little longer, but yes. Stream, come on.